Hey everybody, what is up? I wanted to talk to you today about Advanced Arena here in Infinite Magicraid. I just kind of wanted to share with you a little about what I'm doing and how I'm finding some success. Obviously, I'm not in the top tier, and this video isn't for anyone that's trying to get in the top tiers right away. If you're in the top tiers, you don't need this video. This is for newer players, anybody that's newer to the game or newer to the genre, and maybe just hasn't gotten around to figuring out a system for this yet. It's going to seem fairly simple, but everything's easy when you know it. And again, there's a lot of information to take in. So this is for my newer players who are still trying to learn everything and absorb everything. And sometimes things that seem a little obvious can just escape you because you're being bombarded with tons of information to try to remember, and champ skills to remember, and faces to recognize, an arena list, and resources to gather, and dungeons to farm, and it can be very overwhelming. So I just wanted to kind of break this down in a very simple way and show you how you can climb in 3v3 arena, because I think what probably happens a lot for newer players is you scroll through these lists and you're looking for fights you can win across the board, right? And it's going to take a while before you've got 3 teams. It's going to take a while before you have 2 teams, honestly. The champ building in this game is very slow. So you only need to win 2 rounds. So the way that I approach this is, by default, I have 1 round that I just call the wash. One of the rounds is going to be a wash, and that's how we're going to get our wins. Because if you go through and look at these lists, rarely are people splitting their champs up into actual teams. Here, for example, we've got our Holder and our Lester with our space, right? We've got like good champs in here, and you can see all their purple stars are here. And then this is all filler. These champs probably don't even have gear, okay? So I have 2 ways I can approach this. I can either take my strongest team in and try to beat this team, and then hope that my trash champs, my extra champs, are stronger than their extra champs, or I can just let round 1 be a wash. I can let their strongest team beat my weakest team, and I can move some things around down here so that I'm more likely to beat their trash champs, right? And then just to ensure, we'll do that. So now what we'll do is we'll jump in. That first round, you can have it. You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't need to win all 3 to get positive points to continue to climb. I'm doing the same thing on my main account. We're about to be up in gold, and there's been no resistance at all, right? It's a little bit harder to get caught off guard in this game because, again, champs are built so slowly. You can kind of tell where people are putting their resources. So what's either going to happen in the ranks of silver, and probably even in the ranks of gold, is you're either going to have someone who is invested heavily in 2 or 3 champs, and they're leaning all the way in on them, or they've invested sort of heavily in 1 champ and then spread all their investing out among other champs, which is not really going to serve you that well unless you just have looked up and gotten the most insane gear and the best team comps with the best synergy. You know what I mean? It's probably not going to serve you well. So you can take your 5A champ and maybe a 1A or 2A or 3A champ, whatever you've managed to gather, in and beat their team of 1A and 2A champs, right? And then you'll see what I'm talking about as we go through and look at the list. Let's see if there's any other past ones that have, like here, we've got our Holder with their space. So this is, they didn't even fill theirs out. They're not trying real hard. It's not the best example. Here's a good example though. We've got our 5A right here with a 2A and a 1A. And then we've got a couple of 1As and then another 1A. So they've tried to kind of spread it out, but I don't know that it's going to be enough. I don't know that it's enough. I don't think there's enough of a threat down here. I think as long as we don't take a burn in, because she does have an exclusive, and I think her first exclusive turns turns HP burns into heals. So as long as we don't take an HP burn in there, I think we should win that one. So let's jump in here and do this one. Again, we're first round. We're just going to let first round be a wash. Second round looked like it could have been kind of tough, so we're letting our strong team go there. And then I'm hoping that the third team can overwhelm that Liz. She was only 1A too, right? She wasn't super awakened, I don't think. So again, here, kill all my weak food champs. This round is a guaranteed win. There's no way they're going to take out my my Sentin. I'm not sweating this one at all. And then the third round is, we'll see. If the Liz is a lot stronger than I'm expecting and we can't kill her, we'll hit turn limit. I'm not anticipating that's going to be the case. There wasn't anyone else on the team I think I needed to be particularly worried about. So let's see how it goes. She might not even be geared either. I might need to get some gear. I had her geared, and then I did a regression potion so that I could invest more heavily in Guhana. So we lost our space. Let's target someone, get him out of here. Weem is going to be tough for them to kill. She's got good support. So here's our 2 damage dealers. She's got a little bit of gear. She might have no gear, which could be a problem, but we'll see. We're just going to focus champs one by one to get them out of here. And I think we're going to be okay. Weem coming in clutch with the shields, dude. I don't know what this is right here. I'm actually curious. Hang on a second. I want to see what that is. Increases his bleed damage dealt. His sorrow. He looks pretty cool, huh? Increases bleed damage by 8% for every 1 layer of bleed. He inflicts up to 10 times. Is that what blood mark is? I guess that's what blood mark is. Okay. Severe wound. Yeah, he's kind of interesting. That's a lot of bleeds. And then the fact that it ramps up over time, I bet he seems like he'd be good PvE. Seems like he'd be a good PvE champ. Get her out of there. Right. So now it's just a matter of if we can overwhelm Liz. If we can outdamage Liz's ability to keep herself alive. And I hope that we can. Yeah, we can. And there you go. That's a win. So just keep that in mind as you go through, right? Think about the situation that you're in and understand that in most cases, unless someone's champ box just looks insane, which means they've probably spent a lot of money, their situation is probably not too different than your situation at this level, okay? As you climb, that's going to get a little bit harder to gauge. But assume most people's situation is roughly yours. They've gotten roughly the same amount to invest in their champs as you have. So if you have a 5A and a 4A and 2 1As, and they've got a 5A and a bunch of 1As, you have the edge, right? Don't let the purple stars be scary. There's going to be learning curves. There's going to be lessons to learn. You know, learning that Liz's first exclusive changes HP burns to heals is a tough lesson to learn the hard way. But when you learn it, right? There's still a lot of things I don't know about these champs. I'm still trying to learn all the champs too. I'm still trying to figure out who the problems are and who I should be avoiding. And I know that this guy is a tough one. I know now that, of course, we all know Holder. Holder's probably the most popular champ in the game right now. Liz is another very popular face. I know who else. Are there none in the list? There's 2 more that I want to point out that I know are usually very problematic. Really 3. Her. She can be problematic. She has soloed me before. She's very tough, so you got to be careful about her. But that's the point. The more that you play Arena, the more that you'll start to recognize champs, see what they do. Kind of like we did with the guy with the bleeds. When you encounter a champ that you don't know what they do, just hold your mouse over them for a second. It pulls up a menu. It pauses the fight. You can see their skills. You can see what they're doing. That's the important thing. Those are important things to do too in the fights. But just remember, you only need to win 2. Don't skip fights because you don't think you can win all 3 rounds. Let one round be a wash. Take your 2 wins and continue to climb. Okay. And that's really it. That's kind of the big basic tip. As we play longer and I get more opportunities to build more champs and try different things out, we'll start talking about some specific team comps you can start putting together, how to counter certain things, how to approach fights in different ways. But again, this game doesn't lend itself to building champs quickly and testing things out. So it's going to be a minute, I think, before we can get around to that. But I just kind of wanted to give you a philosophy, a way to approach it so that you can have some sex. I mean, I don't know. Maybe someone will see you playing Advanced Arena and be like, damn, that's hot. And maybe you'll get laid out of it. That's not what I initially meant, though. Success. Because especially while there's an event going, it's not a bad idea to jump in here and get some event points. But there's also rewards and things to be had here as well. So it's always good to be pushing as far as you can and all the content you can just to get the most out of everything. So hopefully this helps someone. Again, I know it's kind of a simple concept, and if you already know it, you're probably going to be like, well, obviously. But I promise you that it's easy to overlook some of these obvious things when you're newer to these games. So hopefully this helps someone approach that, not feel quite as intimidated because you don't have 3 full teams built out. You can still go in there and get your wins and climb. You can very comfortably climb up into silver. And if you're even around the part that I am, I reckon we're going to be able to get into gold soon. I just have to get in there and put in the numbers. And when this update drops that lets us do arena while our multi-battles are running, that's going to help a lot. I'm going to be doing a lot more arena when that happens. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to get out of here. I do hope it was helpful. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.